You should want to produce a piece of long form content that is good and as best as possible that someone can listen to it. But like, you need to recognize for the vast majority of podcasts, people are going to be discovering you via short form video.
Are we in this era now of the death of the full episode? I'm Jake Hurwitz, founder of Thursday Labs, one of the leading podcast networks for the tech world. This is my friend and co-host Jonathan Baer, founder of Overlap, the AI tool that the best shows, including ours, are using to cut short-form clips. This is a new series on what's actually working in podcasting right now. In episode 1, we're talking about why podcasts are an Instagram game, how to design a show backwards from the clips, and whether full episodes even matter anymore.
First week or two, warm it up with like one a day, all platforms, and then you ramp up across all of them. Instagram, you can go to like 40 immediately if you want. TikTok, I would say 2 or 3 per day.
Max.
What
happens if you do more than that?
We just see people get their impressions cannibalized. But I think if you're doing remote, it's just a way bigger challenge to get anyone to stop scrolling and pay attention to it. If it like feels like a Zoom, like people just will like tune that out.
When was the last time you like actually stopped on LinkedIn or Instagram for a Zoom clip? Unless it was like Prof G or the
Totally.
guy.
Like unless it's a recognizable face, you're not paying attention at all.
It's about time we sat down on camera.
I know.
So you're building Overlap AI. I'm building Thursday Labs.
Mm-hmm.
I produce podcasts. You're building tech to make podcasts way more successful. So, you know,
A lot of synergies.
Match made in heaven here.
A lot of overlap, no pun intended.
No pun intended. Tell me about Overlap. What are you building?
So Overlap is a platform that allows you to build and customize your own AI agent that creates and edits and distributes short form video for you. So we work with all sorts of video creators beyond podcasts, but podcasting is definitely like one of our biggest areas of focus. And we allow, whether you're an agency or a network or a big publisher, to really scale your short form video and have agents that are editing videos with taste and posting them to your social channels basically all day, 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, we think of it as when we're growing new shows, mostly on Instagram, I care about the clipping, but like you could do it anywhere, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. I mean, we're posting 20, 30, 40 clips a day for every show.
Yeah.
And it's just like this volume game is unreal.
Yeah.
So obviously a zillion things for us to hack on. One, because like we're nerds about podcasting and it's just fun to talk about this stuff. So let's do it on camera. But 2, I think there's a lot of folks in both our networks that, pun intended, have a lot of overlap. But there's also folks that follow each of us that probably don't know of the other person yet. And they should. So your people should know me, my people should know you.
Totally.
But I think today, like we should really focus and try to talk as much as we can about distribution and format for podcasts and short form, and also talent and creators. These are like definitely 2 separate conversations. Which one do you want to start with? You pick.
Let's talk about format.
All right.
And then we can branch out into creators.
The question I want to kick off with is related to the Clip First podcast. Do you think it makes sense for podcast hosts or producers to go out and think, okay, let's go record for the next 90 minutes around the short form segments that we have in mind? Or is it better to be like, let's just go talk for 90 minutes and pull as many shorts out of it as we can?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're a podcaster, like you should, want to produce a piece of long form content that is good and as best as possible that someone can listen to it. But like, you need to recognize for the vast majority of podcasts, people are going to be discovering you via short form video. And the vast majority of people who interact with you as a creator or you as a company via this piece of content is going to be through short form video. So like, how do you both optimize your format for that? And it kind of depends on your niche on like the best way to do that. But like, how do you, how do you produce content that is going to then translate really well to where people are spending their time, and people are spending their time on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, Facebook, Snapchat, anywhere.
Yeah.
And so you should be thinking about that first and then backing into the piece of long form content.
So a little backstory for anyone listening, like what Thursday Labs is. I mean, we're a network for podcast network typically for the Silicon Valley tech world. I mean, we do shows. We've done about 70 shows now, including my own that I host, and largely focused on founders building tech companies, founders building agencies, and VCs as well. We've done a few corporate shows. We're looking to do more, starting to get into the creator celebrity side of things a bit as well. And so, little context of like what we build. One of our new philosophies that we're really serious about is partly inspired by Samir, half of Colin and Samir, the biggest YouTubers in the world, up there with Mr. Beast and some others that everyone knows. Samir preaches this, and we like live, eat, breathe, and die by this philosophy. And then largely from what we've learned from you, but also like the results of using your tools have all put us in this belief, which is 95% of an episode is already like figured out and planned and not scripted, but like written down before we ever hit record. And that starts with actually a couple key pieces. Number one is the title of the episode. Number two is the text on the thumbnail. Number three is the opening line, like the hook in the teaser trailer, which is the trailer that is going to promote the episode, the short form, but also it's the first thing someone hears when they press play, when they listen to an episode or watch it on YouTube. All of that is not only like already planned and designed, they also align. And so we're kind of like designing a show backwards from the title, the text on the thumbnail, the teaser, opening hook, and then all the shorts that we want to pull out of it. And those shorts have to like make sense with what the show's about at large.
Totally.
Our philosophy also is every episode should be an inch wide and a mile deep on a topic. As like, let's take an example. Let's say the show at large is about, how to communicate better as a CEO or as a leader. This is a communication show. Okay, well, if that episode talked about like, here's how to write good emails, and here's how to like write better LinkedIn posts, and here's how to speak better when you're giving a tough conversation, and here's how to lead a good board meeting, you kind of just like you didn't really talk about anything.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're trying to be everything, then you're nothing. Is
Right.
the philosophy there. So instead it's like, this episode is strictly about how to write a really, really, really good email in a moment of crisis to your team internally with this CEO who has done that a zillion times, and they can share their war stories. Yes, that CEO can talk about all the other things too, but like not today. We're here to talk about that one thing.
Yeah.
So obviously that's like one chapter in the book of this show at large, which is about communications for executives. So then the title has to be something really provocative and attention grabbing that's to that core theme. The thumbnail text has to be complementary to the title. And Samir's whole thinking is to respect your audience. So somebody sees that on YouTube or on Spotify as they're scrolling, and they see the title, they see the thumbnail, and now curiosity should invoke in their head question, which is like, am I writing good emails to my team in a moment of crisis, or am I writing bad emails? I need to go find out. As they click on it. Now the video opens and starts playing. If that opening line was like, hey guest, tell me about yourself, or like, today we're sitting down with so-and-so, you already lost them.
Totally.
Because they're coming in thinking, in the next 0.5 seconds, I need to be given the thing I'm asking for, which is feed my curiosity around how to communicate effectively to my team in moments of crisis. And so then the hook has to be this provocative moment, and like, you kind of script that a little bit, or at least ask questions in the podcast to go there around something to the tune of like, I'll never forget when I sent an email to my team in a moment of crisis and everyone hated me after it. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Now I got to listen to the next hour and a half to hear all about this and learn how not to do that. All of that is planned ahead of time. So then all the short form clips that come out of it as well, they might be 8 different variations on that alone, and then like 7 different stories and like a whole bunch of stuff. We do our best to like design the show backward from the start. What's your take overall on that philosophy in general? And then also, do you see like in the data, both on the short form retention and the long form retention, that like this philosophy holds up as this is going to be making more successful? Or am I kind of just like trying to overanalyze this stuff?
No, I think you're not trying to overanalyze it, and it is like the right approach. Like you basically, like this is maybe like a crass thing to say, but it's like you're a clip farmer. Like you have to think about your content as like, how do I farm clips out of this, and how do I grow pieces that will turn into really good short form pieces. And it's true if your goal is to build awareness for your show, for the person, for the host, or kind of learn as much as possible. It's funny because it definitely, like, that approach is the right approach we've seen for like customers who are in the like marketing kind of space, or like executives or founders or VCs. Like, that is the right approach for that group, but it's also the right approach for like comedians, and it's also the right approach for like sports podcasts.
Yeah.
Like they kind of think about it that way, and they actually, sports and comedy podcasts largely think about it that way to begin with. Like they know that like they instinctually are like, the vast majority of people are going to consume this on social.
Yeah.
And for comedy, it's like, what is going to be funny on social?
Yeah.
Like, what are the stories I tell that I can like become social clips, or like, what are the bits I can do? And then also for sports, it's like, what is my hot take that will then do super well on social for, about this game or this athlete? And you kind of have to have your same approach, even if what you're talking about is like how to write a good email or how to navigate a firing situation.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I tell the story or set it up in a way that is then going to translate across the social algorithms?
What changes then in the podcast itself? Everything from like the length of segments to the guest selection to the studio you're in to like everything, when the shorts are the primary asset and the full episode isn't.
Yeah, well, I think this is obviously like hard to do and expensive, but like the set, like an amazing set like this, like adds so much value, because like
So much.
it like really does. And we see this all the time, like from customers who are doing a lot of like remote recorded stuff versus customers who are doing a lot of like in person.
Yeah.
Like the clips just always do significantly better.
So let's double down on that for a second.
Yeah.
We have probably like 20% of our shows now are virtual, filmed on Riverside. I mean, I started the company like the tail end of COVID, and everything was virtual, and that was novel and new at the time. And then it was like, as soon as we started going in person, we'd go to these studios that are all over the country, and we have our studios in New York, LA, and SF, and then like partner studios everywhere else. That became like, oh, it's night and day. Yeah. One, for like the depth of the relationship, but also the content. I mean, it's a zillion times better. And we just stopped seeing clips perform at all that were virtual. We can, of course, hack on like the zeitgeist and the saturation around that. And that's, for what it's worth, that's only like the shift from virtual to in-person. Now there's a question of like shitty in-person to good in-person to great in-person.
Totally.
And those keep evolving. And like now we're in a moment where every studio looks the same. Like every in-person shoot, it's like, well, they are actually shooting in the same 5 studios around the country that have the same furniture and the same like backdrop and the same like purple-ish light. And that starts to become then commoditized. So talk to me about like the data that you see, and also like if you had to make almost like write a dissertation or a thesis around like virtual to in-person to like really damn good in-person, what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, it's I think if you're doing remote, it's just way bigger. It's just a way bigger challenge to get anyone to stop scrolling and pay attention to it.
Yeah.
For a whole host of reasons, but like, we have customers who do really well with remote recorded stuff.
What do they have in common?
They have in common that they already have an audience.
Yeah.
Like, so like, like Yahoo Sports or Yahoo Finance, who are users of Overlap, like they just already have these big social platforms to begin with. And like, these are professional creators who like have big followings. And then they kind of compensate with like a lot of B-roll and a lot of like images and graphics.
Yeah.
And so that helps it for remote. But like, if you don't have that, and if you, especially the like following already, that it's really, really hard. And then, what we see across the data, I mean, I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but it's just like so stark, where it's like, if you're a smaller podcast with like no audience, like, and you you're not known at all and you use overlap and you have a great like in-person studio, like it will grow. Like it is just like your clips, like if you post enough, like you will find a audience. It's that you're not necessarily going to go like mega viral, but like you will find an audience because people are like, oh, this is a legit person.
Yeah.
And this is like someone who like took the time to like go into a studio and talk.
Sure.
Whereas like if it's like feels like a Zoom, like people just will like tune that out.
When was the last time you like actually stopped on LinkedIn or Instagram for a Zoom clip?
No,
unless it was like Prof G or the
totally like unless it's a recognizable face, like you're not paying attention at all.
The weird thing that I noticed in our portfolio for the shows that are still virtual or the ones that we're launching these days in a virtual, I'm very much like 9.9 out of 10 times. If you come to us, I'm like, I want to build a show. Can you help me build it? Or like, let's see if it's a good fit for the network. I'm very, 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 very hesitant to ever say to do it in virtual or even have like some episodes here and there that are virtual. I think it does usually more harm than good. In the few cases where I think it's okay, all the pieces you mentioned hold up. But like this person already is like the thought leader in their space. They already have the Rolodex where they can text the top 50 people in the space who are already commanding big stages and they're all over the world. And there's just like no way they're getting in person. And it's kind of like better than not having a show. But the other thing that stands out is if it's so niche and technical. Yeah. Like one of our shows is for Fortune 500 chief security officers. It's a show about cybersecurity. Like, and those people are not in the tier 1 cities. They're not really in New York, LA, SF. They're in like outside of Atlanta because CISO of Delta, right? Or they're like outside of Chicago because the CISO of wherever. And the people in that space are like, I don't care at all about the production quality here. I'm not scrolling Instagram like to find this stuff. But when it pops up in their LinkedIn feed or is sent to them in an email newsletter or on Twitter, it's fed up. It's loaded up for them. It's like, oh, I already recognize those two people, and like I need to hear what they're saying for me to stay on top of what my core competitors are doing right now, and like exactly what's happening in this space in the news this week, and like so to them it works totally. That's it.
Yeah, and we've seen people, and I'm sure you have as well, like go from remote to like in person to like nicer in person.
Yeah.
And
a lot of
it
shows.
Just like it instantly makes it way better performance.
Yeah. How would you describe the difference between like in person, like good enough?
Yeah, fine.
And then unbelievable.
Well, I mean, you probably like have seen like the bad in person, which is just like one camera and like
there's like on a couch.
Yeah, they're not exactly like
really
they're all kind of far. You kind of it's hard to like see faces really.
They kind of just like put a camera on a tripod and press record.
Exactly, 100%. And then there's like this like really nice like is it an actual studio? Like is it where it's filmed? I mean, you know much more about this than me, but it's like is the lighting really good? Is the camera placement intentional and thoughtful? And then also there's like the novelty factor, like you mentioned, like there's a couple big studios that everyone uses, and like if you see that in a clip, like it almost has the same effect as if it was remote recorded, where it's like unless this is a recognizable face, it's almost like instant swipe away. So like the more you can record in places that are novel and have kind of an element that like get people to stop scrolling, that's better. And there's a couple of podcasters who are like doing this really well of like, how do you make it feel like this is a unique identity? Yeah.
The thing that Samir said on Mark Brazil's podcast recently, Open Residency, I mean, look, Samir's one of my favorite creators. Mark's one of my favorite podcasters. Best episode ever. Listen to this episode. Samir said, podcasts are for Instagram now. This is one of the biggest YouTubers in the world saying podcasts are an Instagram game now.
Yeah.
Not only are we're also discrediting Spotify and Apple.
Totally.
And I find that to be wildly under-discussed and a really, really important soundbite. Okay. That leads me to wonder, like, are we in this era now of the death of the full episode? So it's like the full episode, the, hour and a half thing where there's like the ad read in the middle, and it's just like the thing we're recording right now. Like, and we even just go, I don't give a shit if anyone listens to this long thing. I'm just going to pull the 75 clips out of it.
The weirdos are going to listen to the blog.
Totally.
There's going to be a dozen weird people listening.
If you are actually hearing this right now, you're listening into this, like,
sicko.
DM us. I'll send you a little gift. Send you a little gift. I promise. Just DM me and let me know that you heard this. But I think in our portfolio, all of our shows, and then we see it out there, like, we're just basically running a clip publishing schedule where the show itself is just the connective tissue between it, and it's efficient. Totally. So, like, fly to New York for 2 days, once a month, record 5 episodes in that day, or like 2 today, 3 tomorrow, take your guests out to dinner, meet a few potential clients, fly home. Totally. See you next month. And to like get 5 weeks of daily content out of that one day, and also like see people face to face, that's supervision. That's huge.
Yeah. The clips are the thing.
What does that then mean about how you structure a show?
Yeah. It's a good question. I think the show is still, like, for a lot of folks, like, I think you think of the show as like, this is for like my hardcore fans. And then the clips are for like the masses, the more casual fans, like people who maybe are never going to tune in, but like still might find this interesting, or like, and to build broad awareness. Like, I think of like streamers are like a really good example of like the people who are like watching a live stream and like in the chat, like talking to, their favorite streamer. Yeah. Like, those are the hardcore, maybe tens of thousands of people for like, big streamers, but then like tens of millions actually see the clips from it. And so I think there's a similar thing in the podcasting where it's like the long form should be thought of as like the people who are actually consuming that are your diehard fans. And then everyone else, which is the vast majority of people for most podcasters, like that is what the clips are for.
What do you think though, if the space that you're in is so niche where there's like literally 500 people in the world who care about this stuff. Yeah. And like your goal is they all should be diehard fans. What's the clipping for then?
I mean, also it's like, for probably some of these shows that you're kind of referring to, like if you didn't release the long form, no one would notice or care. Like you could probably, for like maybe the cybersecurity podcast or just any very like niche technical business podcast, if you don't publish the full episode on YouTube and you don't publish it to RSS feeds, and then you just like have these clips go out across LinkedIn and X, people would be like, "Oh yeah, that podcast." Like, and you can still brand it as a podcast and like have a name for it. Yeah. But like, literally, no one would notice or care. Like, I'm sure those people and those hosts aren't going to be hit up with like, "Hey, where can I get the full episode?" If you do a good enough job with the clipping.
So as podcasts now are kind of just like the efficient connective tissue behind a short form property that you're running, this like daily, you're almost creating an always on
100%
show when you're only recording one day a month.
It's not even like, it's just conversational content. Like it's always on conversational content.
And like, it's literally, let's say through overlap, because now it's possible with AI and the tech you built, like to actually be posting a clip every single hour. 24/7, you're always on in a short form format. It's great. These like little snackable bite size, like I can at least go to sleep at night knowing that every time anyone in my audience or anyone who I want to be in my audience, anyone who should be, anytime they open their phone and open up Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever platforms you choose in your mix, which is a whole conversation in and of itself, every time they're taking a poop or waiting in line at Starbucks or sitting in traffic, even though they shouldn't be on their phone during traffic, but whatever. Every time that happens, I can trust that my face is most likely going to pop up for them. That's always on. And that's good because they don't have the hour and a half to dedicate to you in that moment. They have the 30 seconds though. You're constantly there. So as vertical video becomes now like the thing, and it's actually already been the thing, like for me to sit here and say like vertical video is the thing now, like that would be a joke.
But I also, like, obviously it's like not the hottest take that like vertical video is a thing, but I still think it's underestimated.
Why?
Like, I think it's underestimated because more and more time is migrating to time and attention is migrating to these platforms that traditionally went to TV and radio and listening to podcasts. And it's not stopping, and it has never stopped. Like ever since, TikTok really took off in COVID, in kind of 2008, 2019, it continues. There's kind of 5-6 hours a day that most people have where they're kind of consuming video or audio content. And that just continues to, short form video feeds are like basically an hour and a half now of that for like an average person. And it just continues to eat up that time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not stopping.
How do you see then, as the format's pivoting from this like horizontal long thing to this vertical short thing, how is that shaping guest booking strategy, set design, studio design, like even how we're sitting?
Yeah.
Right. Like, do you see patterns or any data that can point to like, this is how you need to start thinking about these types of decisions here?
Yeah. Well, as it gets to, I mean, high level, like you should, for like guest booking, like it's probably in your best interest to like have the person who will have the best conversation, like in terms of just like, hey, like I want to enjoy a good conversation with someone, but like the social following of that person will help tremendously in sharing, just like the fundamental distribution of the content. Because if they're liking and retweeting it and reposting it, like their followers see your content and vice versa. And so like that plays a huge role into it.
Yeah.
So like you should think about like, whenever you have a guest on, like I'm basically going to their audience and they're going to my audience.
Yep.
Like you're sharing an audience.
I want to ask you probably the most technical question of the day. And we're going to call this one the Overlap AI most important question of the day.
Cool.
Sponsored by Overlap AI. Can you break down the ideal short form posting strategy for each platform for a new show?
For a new show, yeah.
New-ish show. They've been around for, let's say, less than a year. So under, let's call it 50 episodes.
Yep.
Trying to grow an audience everywhere they possibly can for the long haul.
Yep.
They want this thing to be sustainable. How should they themselves or like their social media manager strategically post on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Spotify, Apple, YouTube Shorts?
Yep.
Maybe Facebook, TikTok, etc.
Yeah.
I asked because I broke this down as just like free game and posted on LinkedIn and Instagram recently, and it posted pretty well. I was like, here's what we're doing on each platform day after day.
Yes.
What's your take on it?
So what we've seen in terms of like optimal cadence for like new accounts on each of these platforms, first week or two, warm it up with like one a day and like make sure that those posts are like not inflammatory or have anything that will like get it flagged for whatever reason. So
and this is what platforms?
All platforms. TikTok is most sensitive.
Yeah.
But all platforms start with one a day until you like start to see like a little bit of traction on post. And then you ramp up.
When?
Week two.
Week two,
usually when you start to see some traction. That's usually when you start to see like, oh, okay, these posts are doing okay.
What do you define as okay?
Honestly, they're not getting, if you have like over a week of like real engagement that isn't like zeros, basically, then that's okay.
Couple hundred,
maybe
even 1,000 views.
If you have 1,000, like you're good. You're not, this
you're out of that like learning phase.
Exactly. You're out of the learning phase. And then you ramp up across all of them. Instagram, I would say you can go to 30, you can go to like 40 immediately if you want.
Okay.
I tell people to like ease into it for just like kind of, getting just like them okay with like the concept of going kind of crazy.
Yep.
But like, and a lot of people don't have like content to post 40 times a day, but like, do 10 a day for a week, then do 20 a day for a week, then do 30 a day. But like 40 a day is the max on Instagram. TikTok, I would say it's like 2 or 3 per day.
Max.
max.
What happens if you do more than that?
12 is like the hard cap. We just see people get their impressions cannibalized if they don't have an audience already, if they start to go like much higher than 3.
Yep.
Yeah, like the one caveat with all of these, especially TikTok and YouTube, it's like the bigger your audience is and the longer the account's been around, the more leeway and leash you have to go higher volume.
Interesting.
So especially like early on, you want to probably on TikTok stay 2 or 3 a day. YouTube 2 or 3 a day to start, and then you can kind of ramp up as you start to build an audience. I would say YouTube Shorts 2 or 3 a day, and then one piece of YouTube mid-form a day as well.
How do you find mid-form?
I would say like kind of a 3 or 4 minute landscape video on like the main channel.
Does the overlap handle those?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Which we got to get you.
We got to start doing those ones. That would be a new experiment for us. Is mid-form.
Yeah, and there's some more complications around that with like thumbnails and stuff. But like, especially if this is like a secondary account, like you should just be doing mid-form. And especially for like some of the media companies we work with who are kind of optimizing for monetization. Like if they're doing, like you can do 8-minute clips, clips, but it's like 8-minute pieces of content. They're really segments.
Yep.
And those can monetize really well.
Let's make this segment a mid-roll.
Exactly.
Or mid-form, I should say.
Exactly. Yeah. But the thing is like what we start to see is like, the shorts, they're totally different algorithms. So it's like you're playing basically, this one account is basically playing in different algorithms with like, kind of the landscape videos and like people accessing YouTube on desktop, and then the shorts algorithm, people accessing it on largely mobile. And so like you're kind of, it's just like more opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
Facebook, we see a lot of people have tons of, actually, it's crazy. The most amount of overlap impressions now are Facebook impressions.
Yeah.
But that's just largely because like a lot of the bigger media companies who have like these huge Facebook audiences are using it for their Facebook posting.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you can post 10 times a day is kind of what we see. There's one Tony Worker who posts like up to 15 times a day on Facebook. But like, yeah, I would say like stay in that range, which is usually optimal. X is very audience dependent. So like the bigger your audience, the more leeway you have to post a lot of volume. Yeah, X is a little strange because they're always changing like the algorithms, like weights, seemingly. So it's hard to know, but like do a couple times a day on X. And then Snapchat, which we've started to have customers post on, like do a couple times per day. LinkedIn is probably less of a volume game.
Yep.
And so like maybe a couple times per week.
Yeah, we found LinkedIn 3 posts a week. And only one of those should be video.
Yes. Yeah.
LinkedIn, unfortunately, ruined video for all of us on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I talked to someone at LinkedIn recently and they're like trying to do, they're trying to get more people to do video but it's hard.
So what's then the philosophy around posting on one account versus having multiple clipping accounts or burner accounts as we call it?
Yeah. Like I think everyone should be having a burner, like clip account, burner account, secondary account, promotional account, we call it, various customers like different terminologies for them.
Yeah.
But what I think is optimal is like have a main account that is, if you have the time or resources to do this, like have a human editor, like
the really manicured.
Super manicured, like kind
high
fidelity, animations, maybe like real, not maybe once a week you're posting, but like really kind of, polished, and then have a burner account that is posting high volume. So maybe on Instagram, it's 20 or 30 a day. Yeah. Maybe it's 10 a day. I don't know. And same thing on TikTok and YouTube, et cetera.
Yep.
And that one is more focused on volume, and still you want quality, but like it is really like the question you should be asking is like, how do I get this to a cadence that is just always on?
Yeah.
And then, in that, on that account in the description, like, link back to your main account. Like you can, have a UTM, like we have customers all the time who like have that link from their secondary account to their main account, and they get tons of clicks and tons of people go to the main account after discovering the secondary account.
What do you do in a scenario? We've found our own strategy. I'm curious what you've seen a lot of folks do in your world, which is I'm going to launch 2 accounts on day one, like 0 followers on both. One's the manicured, high fidelity, like main account. One is the high volume burner account or clipping account. Okay. The clipping account now grows to 10,000 followers in 2 months, but the main account has 50.
Yeah.
That actually looks really bad and weird of like, well, why is this like clip account? It almost looks like it's just bots, whereas the other one, like, well, this brand is nothing, just the show is like nothing to trust. How do you combat that?
Yeah, it's a good point. Usually, like what we usually do when like someone starts using overlap, like usually they have a existing account that like already has some sort of followership, and sometimes the clip accounts like catch up to it. But I would say it's fine. Like it's just the thing about, I mean, like on Instagram, for example, is like very, very few people are going to profiles. Like people are interacting with this content, not like you gotta like disregard the follow, like caring too much about followers, because it isn't like it's kind of an ego thing more than like if you care about understanding, what messages are resonating, or understanding like, or you're just getting awareness like for your content, like it doesn't matter what your accounts really look like that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think also over time, like as the secondary account grows, like the main account will get a lot of those followers and they will come over. And that'll just be like a natural progression.
Our philosophy right now, I mean, it's May 2026, like we'll see how long this lasts for, but probably a while, is growing an account, what's mostly on Instagram, and same goes for TikTok, but let's start with these 2. Takes 3 phases. Phase 1 is the first 2 months. Phase 0.5 is that first like 1 or 2 weeks, maybe even the first month where you're just like posting 1 clip a day. And what we'll do is we'll post everything on 1 account, all the high fidelity. And what we do is we'll pull like 5 to 7 clips per episode, and a team of humans edits those. A teaser that's like highly animated. It's the trailer with all the different music and the animations, and it's the like has all the cliffhangers and the hooks, plus usually then like 5 or 6 viral worthy, like trending audio, really good camera shots, no frills with animation, no end card, just loops. Yeah, those are meant to go viral. They're cut. A human has to edit those. Yeah, we'll post one of those a day, 7 days a week. On top of that, after episode 8 goes out, then we'll start using overlap. So that's phase 2. So phase 1, just to recap it, is like for the first 8 episodes, weekly episodes. So that's 2 months.
Yeah.
It's just 1 clip a day. They're high fidelity, and we're starting to like get a bunch of content on the feed. So now there's, a couple scrolls worth of content there. We're warming up the algorithm. We're getting used to like posting a lot. The host is getting used to seeing themselves on the internet all the time. But we're not blasting anything yet. Phase 2 comes around. Now we have enough episodes out to be posting 1 clip from each episode every day. And so then we'll go back to these 8 episodes we've done so far. Now we're on like week 9. We'll take all 8, we'll put them into overlap, and we'll have now the 1 clip goes out every day that a human made, plus 8 clips that the AI made. Yeah. So now it's 9 clips a day. Next week, it'll be 10 clips a day. And then the week after that, it'll be 11 clips a day because another episode is coming out. And so let's say each episode gives us roughly like 30 to 50 clips. That's 30 to 50 days of like running that episode until it's out. And then we'll do it again.
Yeah.
So like today I'm posting clips that were recorded 12 months ago. These things like got to get the shelf life out of it. We'll let all that grow on 1 account until we're usually at around like anywhere from 10 to 25,000 followers. It's got to be more than 10K, I think. Minimum is like 7 to 8K. And that's where you're kind of at that like, oh, this is like a legit show now.
Right.
Then I make that phase 3, the main account. I go in and I archive all of the overlap clips that have gone out, except for the ones that went viral.
Yeah.
So everything on that page now is stripped down. You're probably cutting 90% of the content there.
Totally.
It takes a half an hour to go through and do that manually. But now you're just left with the gold that we have posted over the last.
Yeah, the best
call it
overlaps
6 months.
clips, and you have the like these aren't fake followers. Like these are people
Yeah,
who
this
like,
is real.
actually followed because they liked
Yes.
the content that was coming out.
Then on that day, we'll go now create a new clipping account for all of our content forever.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we grew this one to, let's call it 10,000 followers. Then we cleaned it up. Now we matter. Now we're going to start 1, maybe 5 clipping accounts and then grow those. And now they all start to grow in tandem. And I'll see this one goes from 10 to 25 and this one goes from 0 to 10 and then 25 to 50 and this one goes from 10 to 20. And like, that's been our play.
Totally.
But again, this isn't something you do in 30 days. This is over the course of like the first year.
Yeah. Yeah. And which is an awesome, super smart playbook. You probably position it well with your clients where you're like, hey, this is a whole process that like takes time. And like, that's also just the right approach to have on social media is like, you do need to build and test and figure it out. You can't just like be like, these clips didn't go viral this week. Like I'm out,
Right.
Which is like,
It's like working out for the first time, not getting a 6-pack and saying, I didn't get a 6-pack today. I'm never doing this again.
Totally.
It's like, no, this is a long game. If you're looking for that, take steroids.
Yeah.
Which is the same as like, go run ads.
Go run ads,
That's
exactly.
That's a completely different game.
Totally.
Do both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't take the steroids, but run the ads. It's a different thing.
Yeah. And I think, there's also like, and I think you've done a really good job of this, of like, how do you brand the burner account well? And like, we've seen a bunch of clients like have a lot of success with like, if it's like an edgier podcast, like, oh, this is, podcast XYZ, like unfiltered, or like this is behind the scenes or like archived, figure out the like right branding and terminology for that secondary account, which will both drive people to the main account more and also kind of, get people in the right mindset for like, hey, this is like a higher volume type of account. Totally.
Let's talk about hosts now.
Mm-hmm.
The talent and creators behind this. Our whole philosophy at Thursday is we look at our hosts as creators, not just podcast hosts anymore. These are people, obviously they think of themselves as thought leaders. Of course, they're hosts, but we think of them as both those things. Plus they are social media creators, influencers, if you will. They're micro influencers to start, because that has a drastic impact on now the business that they're doing with brands, sponsored type deals that are coming in. So very strong opinions here. What do you see from Overlap's perspective in terms of what's working, what's not, where are the trends between hosts who treat themselves as creators with a podcast in their toolkit versus those who are like, the podcast is my whole thing. Like I'm just a podcast host.
Yeah. Well, I think for the people who consider themselves, oh, I'm a podcaster, I only do a podcast, like, unless they are massive and in that like 0.1% of podcasts, like that does not work for brands. It's not what brands are looking for.
Yeah. And it took, first off, a different world, which is like pre-2025 and 10 years for those people to get there.
For sure.
Every single one of them
none of those people are like,
they didn't start now.
Yeah,
they started a very long time ago in a very different environment with very different algorithms, and they didn't see anything until 150 episodes.
Totally.
Like minimum
100%.
150 episodes.
100%.
And we get to learn those from those mistakes and kind of ride those tailwinds. But also we have a very different environment that we're playing in now.
Totally. And if for all the other folks, it's like, you have to be a creator. The brands, like, your RSS feed stats are maybe a cherry on top, but like the brands don't really care about that. Like they don't really care about your monthly downloads. Like they want to see your followers, like your social impressions, like that is what they're accessing, kind of the attention they're renting by working with you is your social media following. That's what matters to them. And it helps to be a podcaster because it is like, a lot of your listeners will become your social media following, and those are very like ardent fans. And the podcast is a great source of like a lot of social content across not only your account, but maybe like other accounts and your fan accounts and all of that.
Yep.
Um, it's just a great toolkit. It's maybe like one of the most essential toolkits for a lot of creators. But like brands are looking at them as creators and personalities, not I'm partnering with a show.
Okay. Let's talk about guests now a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We look at guests as like a core pillar of the distribution strategy.
Yeah.
And the growth of a show, both in terms of like collaborating on posts with guests. Like if you have a guest on who has 200,000 Instagram followers and you give them a great experience and you make really good clips and you become homies with them, and then the content looks as good, if not better, than what's already on their feeds. Those are very important things to do, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
If you then add them as a collaborator, they're more likely to accept it. And now you're on their feed in front of their entire audience. If you do that times 10 over the first 10 weeks, you're now in front of, what's 200,000 times 10? 2 million eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Not good at simple math. It's why I'm not in finance anymore. But reaching that many new eyeballs all organically in your space with a ton of trust, like that is the strategy. So do you see different levels of success for hosts who look at guests as a distribution play versus those who are just like, it's an appearance and it's actually, they think of it almost egotistically, like I look good because I'm with this guest at the table?
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you think about it as you and like all the shows you work with do, like as a distribution play, like that is the most effective part of it. Like it is like, because you do just get, it's almost like running ads, you know. It's like I get access to this whole new audience that I would hit with, like this would have not been in their feed otherwise.
Yeah.
I think it also varies by segment. Like I think having certain guests, even if that guest doesn't have social following, could make a lot of people stop scrolling and gives that person legitimate, like I'm sure like in the cybersecurity podcast you're talking about.
Yeah,
like,
it's like they don't have a lot of followers, but everyone like knows that person
Totally.
or their title is
or
really
the title
important.
or the company, like,
Yeah.
all of that stuff does.
One of our top episodes ever in the network was with the CTO of Whole Foods.
Mm.
Like no one knows that person's name, but when you
Yes.
say like, this is a very technical show, but with the CTO of Whole Foods, you're like, oh, I got to hear what they have to say. But you have to put that on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and they're just like brand name companies. Like,
Yeah.
if someone's at OpenAI or whatever, like people will just stop. There's just a certain segment of people who will just stop scrolling and just be like, what is this? So yeah, it matters a ton. And then obviously like you want a guest who's like gonna bring it for the episode and be super engaging and like lean in and is good for social.
Totally.
Yeah.
I feel like we're seeing like a new class of creators now that they don't really make original content. They're cutting and repackaging other people's. And
Yeah.
what do you guys refer to those as?
Clippers. Yeah, largely we refer to them as clippers.
What's the clipper economy like right now?
It's a very interesting time in the clipper economy. It's like growing rapidly. It is a new form of content marketing, like the clipping economy, which is like often people running WAP campaigns around their content, and then it subsequently goes to like an agency who's running this campaign, who then has a Discord of like 1,000 19-year-olds who are then cutting and posting their like these clips or like clips from this creator across their socials and then getting paid per a CPM on that. That ecosystem is like growing a lot. There's a lot of issues with that ecosystem. There's like a lot of like fraud in it,
Rights, IPs, and things.
rights. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. I think there's like a lot of savvy creators don't care about like who posts it. Like you shouldn't, like a lot of the savvy creators are like, hey, if I post this on my account or someone else posts it on their account, doesn't matter. It's just I'm getting impressions and people are becoming more aware of my content. I think for brands are talking to creators and encouraging them to lean into clipping, because it is just like it's, you can multiply your distribution by 1,000. And for brands whose sponsorship looks like a mug on a table or like a little bug on a clip, like a logo bug, like they want more people posting those clips. They don't care if it comes from the main account who has the IP versus a fan account.
Yeah.
And it also makes the show seem bigger.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we work with a bunch of podcasters who have migrated over from paying clippers to clip their content to just creating overlap, autonomous, secondary kind of clip accounts.
Yeah.
For a whole host of reasons. But you kind of get a little bit more control, but kind of with the same upside. But they just want more people posting their content. And the best shows have clippers organically. It's funny, we're talking about all the short form stuff, Joe Rogan, which is the biggest podcast, he doesn't post a lot of short form content. Very little short form content is coming out of him and his team. But the reason he's everywhere on social media is because everyone else is posting all his short form content.
And they're giving them full permission to do that?
Yeah. They don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I don't want to speak for them. I don't know if they don't care, but that is promoting the show a ton, having him in everyone's feed. It's also probably not even policeable. What, they're going to be on social media all day, reporting each clip as it comes up. So, but it helps him. Each clip is a little ad for him and makes him more relevant. And it's hard to track the aggregate stats of it, but it's I imagine he gets, many, many millions. I don't even, maybe over 100 million, a day or a week of people just reposting his content.
Totally. All right. So where do you see this world in 2 years from now? What's the prediction and the vision that Overlap is pioneering?
I think the future of both media and marketing kind of merge, and every marketing team kind of looks like a digital media company, and every digital media company is kind of doing what we describe and the savvy people are doing, which is you have your long form content, whether that's a podcast, a live stream, you have that going constantly almost. And then everything is just clip farming. And AI is going to be doing all of that work of understanding kind of what parts of your episode you clipped, what kind of moments you want, how to edit them, and then posting them to not only your accounts, but other accounts as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just constantly going and running on autopilot. And all we're doing is jumping on a camera and talking. And then it's going out to social.
Well, I don't think we can discredit the and all we're doing is talking, because I think it's making them, I agree with this world, right?
Yes.
And more.
Yeah.
I think it's making the element of the editing to an extent and the posting and even the caption writing, pretty soon we'll see thumbnails becoming generatable with AI at scale. No one's built that tool yet.
Yeah.
If they do, please hit me up because we need that tool.
Yeah. We could talk about that.
That getting to that level of volume, it's already becoming a commodity.
Yeah.
You did it. You democratized it. You made it so now anyone can post at a volume that no human could have ever posted before.
Yep.
And that's having profound impact on organic growth. And it's almost a paradigm shift in and of itself.
Right.
But then it puts the onus and the importance more, I think, on the quality of the conversation.
100%.
And the set design and the things that the humans have to still, the originality of the show. And for example, at this point, almost every show we launch, we have to add a dimension to it that's just different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, another show where a CEO is talking to CEOs about AI. So they play games on camera because it's different.
Yeah.
Or another show about a founder talking to founders about how hard the journey is in the hustle porn, but they're eating empanadas and getting messy. Some dimension that just makes it different. By the way, those are 2 shows in our portfolio, Not Another Podcast and Founders and Empanadas.
Yeah.
And it just something different, original, unique. And you can't really just go on Chat or Claude and be make me an idea of a show and give me an episode list and then like, let's do it. Or you can't even really ask it like, what are some unique ideas that make it different? Because it's just going to be a derivative example of everything that already exists. Like,
Totally.
and the questions you ask, like becoming a great conversationalist, becoming a damn good host. Like we coach all of our hosts extensively before they record their first episode. And then like through the first month and then in month 2 and 3, like that stuff is so critical. And I think that's where the competitive edge will be 100% forward.
Yeah. I mean, we've even seen a ton with like, I think it's kind of like become a little bit out of vogue, maybe not actually, but like the celebrity podcasts. And there's just like every celebrity wants to have a podcast. They'll like jump on and, just try to let their celebrity carry the show.
Yeah.
Without any thoughtful intentionality behind like, what do I want the angle of the show to be? Like, how do I want to show up as a host, not just like as a celebrity?
Yeah.
And I think you're totally right that like that has to have a human element into it and like understand kind of the taste of what do we want to be, not only what do we want to talk about, but like how do we want to show up on camera?
Totally. What is one thing you will just take to the grave? You strongly, strongly, strongly believe this thing with your core that everyone in this space disagrees with?
That everyone in this space disagrees.
99% of people disagree with.
99% is hard. I mean, there are all these things that I think I thought of, and I'm not like original, and that like these weren't original thoughts that like a couple of years ago that was like, podcast with a new talk show. And like, this is, TV, a lot of the previous really popular TV content is just migrating over to this new ecosystem. I think that's just become like very normal opinions now.
Mm-hmm.
The new opinion, I think that most people disagree with is, but you don't disagree with me on it, is that like podcasting is becoming a short form video medium. But I think if you say that to anyone in the podcast industry, they like get a headache, trying to like wrap their mind around it.
What they're hearing is like, everything I've built for so many years needs to be unraveled. Like the entire business, everything they built it's like when you say to someone, you've probably, any founder knows this, is like, I'm struggling with this one thing at work with my team. And then someone's like, well, you should just hire different people. It's like that's not fucking helpful at all. Like, you know how much unraveling I need to do to even begin to just hire a whole new team? Like, yeah, that's one example of it. And I think that's what they feel when we say something like that. And like, good, because
it's provocative. And the thing is, I also think like people wouldn't have a adverse reaction to it if they didn't know there was some kind of truth to it. Like it's kind of provocative in a way that like hits a truth nerve that people know, but they don't really want to deal with.
Yep.
I don't know. What's your answer to that question?
My hot take here is that podcasters are creators.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a hot take to the brands, the sponsors out there. I think that buying the like 30-second mid-roll ad and pricing it based off of CPM, which is calculated off of monthly downloads, which is also not a comprehensive number. So we can kind of say like the number of people every month that listen to the long form episode on Spotify and Apple. If that's how if you're doing CPM math, that's old school New York media style math, worked for a really long time, worked in radio, works in TV, worked in podcasting until last year. That game is so outdated, but yet all the brands still operate that way.
Yeah.
I can't say all, but most. And so my hot take is like any brand, any marketing director who's looking at this as like, we just need to run sponsorships and the long form, like you're toast.
Totally.
Your budget is just, it might return a bit, but like you could have it return way more by playing the creator influencer game. So hire that head of creator partnerships who understands how to talk to creators and influencers, and they don't give a shit about the long form listens. They care about the short form impressions. I want someone thinking, how do we get a listener to go from like viewing this viral clip and then going to my website? Not thinking, how do we get them to see this clip and then go listen to the full episode so that they can hear my ad in the middle of the episode and then go to the website? Like you're adding this piece in the middle that nobody is going to.
Totally.
So it's a complete waste.
Totally.
I think I've been screaming that from the rooftops for the last few years, and we're finally at a point where people are like, makes sense, I get it. But the brands still, most of them are like, either like finally someone who sees it that way, because we just go straight to the head of creative partnerships versus the head of marketing.
Yeah.
Or they are just like, we don't know how to like underwrite a deal like that, so we're just gonna
and they're used to shows, like they're used to like a TV show, and then I sponsor this TV show.
Yeah.
And then there was probably a period in the beginning of the podcast industry where like, when like Serial, season 2 of Serial, like, I mean, a lot of podcasts still do this, but like seasons, like, you can do seasons, whatever, but like, it's kind of like
nobody cares.
No one cares.
We do a season around like there's a shift, there's a change, a rebrand, a new strategy, like a new host, co-host, like something new is really here, and then it's like new season, and it gives you a reason to make another announcement.
Yes, 100%. That makes sense. But it's like I remember like when Serial was a phenomenon, there was like Serial season 2, and it's like doesn't really matter. Like people aren't really like tuning into Serial as a brand, and you don't really build that type of relationship with your viewers or listeners in the podcast. It's all about people.
Yep. Love it, my man. Call to action here. If you are building a show and you want to grow fast on social, overlap.ai, that is your place. If you want to build a show and you want a producer, a guest booking person, an editing team, a distribution team all in one, come to us at Thursday Labs. Especially if you're in tech, the VC or that ecosystem. Thank you.
I nudge all of our VCs to Thursday.
Perfect.
Labs.
And we literally use overlap on almost all our shows and nudge a ton of people over to you. So I'm going to reach across.
Good stuff. Thank you, bro.
Much love. A lot more to come soon here.
Yes.